Welcome to the Land, your bet sports betting show. 5 WNBA games here on Friday. So we got a nice full slate. Finally, the luxury of choice with some decent amount of bets available for us. I'm going to be going through the matchups, some of the key data you need to know before you get these bets down for yourselves on Friday as well. Got a couple bets down for some sides, and I'm really liking in one of these games. Going to kick it off with that one. Decent right now in terms of the WNBA, still hovering around 500. One bad night, really kind of nuked us a couple nights ago, but a couple winning nights in a row that we're putting together now. So let's keep it going. That all sounds good. Give this video a like. Let's get right into it. First game we're looking at should be a good matchup for the Liberty and the Mercury here. At least should be a pretty good game, but we know there's some key players out for the Liberty. Still going to be without Leona Fibic. Now also going to be out with Jonquel Jones 4 to 6 weeks after she got that injury earlier, just a couple games ago now. So we are looking at Rebecca Gardner most likely starting once again. Her and Johannes come in and both play a bunch of minutes. Sabrina's back, obviously. So it's mostly just going to be Fibic and Jonquel that we're going to be without at this point. Sabali starting as well in there at center. Not the player that Jonquel Jones is, we know. And then although Akoa Makani has been starting a bunch for the Mercury, Whitcomb does get in there as well. Sammy Whitcomb getting some pretty good minutes, a couple games with 30-plus minutes in the last out of the last 3 games or so. Other than that, they're healthy. Kalea Copper might be in line for a few more minutes as she continues to increase and improve her health and come back from that injury that she missed a good amount of the start of the season. Only played 3 games so far. Played 23 minutes in the last one. Hasn't played, on the back-to-back at this point. So we'll see how many minutes she's in line for. But this team is getting hot at the right time. Won 5 of their last 6, and they're actually in the opposite boat with this Liberty squad, who has been struggling. Now, it makes sense. Fibic, really, really key wing defender for them. And now Jonquel, who has already missed a bunch of games in the last 6 anyway, out for the 4 to 6 weeks. That's why this Mercury team looks a lot better in the last 6 games. 5-1 versus the 3-3 that the Liberty are. For the Mercury, 1st in offensive rating, 7th in D rating, but 3rd in rebounding. And a couple of the key areas like points off of turnovers, second chance points, they've been dominating that area. And for this Liberty team, the defense is what's been struggling because their 2 best defenders are missing with Jonquel and Fibic. So it makes sense. And Jonquel probably their most important player with the skill set that she's bringing and what she does. They've been giving up a ton of points off of turnovers, giving up a ton of second chance points, and that D rating down to 9th. Not going to cut it for them. So there's some possibilities here for some player props that I want to get into with you right now. As always, using Props Madness here on the show. Definitely the #1 sports betting research tool for the WNBA and these player props. Use code LYB if you're interested in jumping in. That gets you 25% off your first month. Also get 7 free days if you want to try it out, test it out for yourself before you jump in. But you're not going to get this type of data that we're going to be looking at here for the WNBA pretty much anywhere else. Certainly not for the amount that you would pay for the monthly fee here, around $20 for the Props Madness. But let's just go down the line a little bit because I do like a good amount of these players. And for the Mercury, Seitu, I like the boards again. She's at 7.5 here, averaging 8 on the season, just had 9 against this squad. And one of the big reasons is they're 12th in limiting rebounds. They're 12th in limiting rebounds to this position as well. So not good, right? As we know, they've been struggling against forwards big time. Stewie gonna have to play big in this game. She and Seitu matched up pretty well, and they'll continue to do so, at least in terms of the way that Stewie's able to guard Satu Sabali. So I don't love the points for her. The rebounds are still a nice edge for her as well. Kalea Copper, I can't really get a read on yet. She's played 22, 18, and then 23 minutes in a big win against Chicago. And they haven't played for like 6 days now for the Mercury. So it should give her more opportunity to get even healthier, right? A full week off, basically. Another one for her to improve that health. She should be in line for a few more minutes. I don't really know if that's going to be enough for her or not, if she's going to get up there into the high 20s or 30s yet. So I need one more game to kind of gauge the minutes for her, and then I'll be able to bet on some Copper stuff. But I still think we're getting plenty of value on Alyssa Thomas in a big matchup on the points, rebounds, and assists as a whole. That's actually got a better hit rate, and it's a little bit of a better number here on the 29.5 than all of these props individually. Points, assists, and rebounds, all of them. And I think the rebounds are a little bit better than the dimes. That certainly held true in the last game. Had 15 boards against this team because, once again, they struggled to limit forwards on the boards. And Alyssa Thomas, it has been a little bit more free with her defensive matchups, not always guarding the on-ball player on the other side, which allows her to play off-ball and get a few more boards like she did in a couple games in a row. Didn't really need to do much in just 21 minutes against the Sky in this last game. So I'm giving her a benefit of the doubt in that one. But the PRA as a whole, up about 30.5. Gonna put them all together here for her. And then I do like a bet for Sammy Whitcomb. I want to see what happens if we get a few more props, if we get the under more available for her. One little tip here that's been something that's kind of screwing us in the W. When they give these props of like only an over, right? You cannot bet an under for Sammy Whitcomb except for a couple places like Fliff, the exchange, and then Bet Online has the prop builder. They're letting you go under on the 8.5 points if you want. But when you see only overs available, it's be cautious, use caution, and be suspicious is what I'm trying to say. Because the books, if they don't have a true gauge on this, they're just throwing it out there. People hoping that people play the over on the recent hit rate. They know that that's what most of these public bettors are doing, just betting the hit rate. So they want to go over. So let's see if we can actually get a real price on her with a potential under price as well to see if we think it's smart or not. But she's up in the minutes, like I was saying, 23, 30, and then 25 in this last game against the Sky. But that was a blowout as well. And she didn't really get blowout minutes either. So she should be available, even though she's coming off the bench. Really nice usage rate, 10 shots, 12 shots, 14 shots. So about 12 per game in each of her last 3. Really like her to get 10 points if she's going to be up and around 12 shots once again. Going back to the boards for Stewie, I think this is the best play for her with Jonquel Jones out. Now, Stewie's got averaged 8 rebounds per game last season, 8.8 actually, so closer to 9 on the season. This season just really down on the boards and been doing a couple other things, but without Jonquel and without Fibich, she's going to be huge for the boards. And if you look at the games that she's played without Jonquel, she's averaging more than 7 per game, 7.5, over in 4 of 5, right? And pretty good here with the teams that she's been playing, pretty good rebounding teams, and she's still getting in there and getting the boards because she's definitely needed a lot more down low without Jonquel. So I think we can book her for the boards more than anything, although I do still like her to step up on the points as well in a big matchup. But the rebounds have the best edge. Staying away from Sabrina, I mean, the points should be there for her. Coming back from injury, I prefer an under on the dimes if we can get this at 5.5. This should have been 5.5 in some places and might be, but I don't like her to get dimes at all. If anything, we'll wait for 5.5 assists, go under on Sabrina, and then last bet even available is Natasha Cloud, and I still love an under on the PR for her. We might get this back up to 12.5 if we can, and she has not done that. I mean, with Jonquel, without Jonquel, does not matter. She's only gone over 11.5 once in her last 10 games or so, 11 games, I should say. Once in the last 10, right? And once in the last 11 too, if you want to add that last game there against the Valkyries. But if we get this up to 12.5, that's a 100% hit rate in the last 11 games for her. Not getting involved on the rebounds, has the ball in her hands a ton, but not looking to score either. So I would avoid the assists. She's still getting plenty of dimes, but the PR is just a really nice continuous go-to for us on Natasha Cloud to the under. Moving over to Minnesota in Atlanta, and we still don't know if Napheesa Collier is playing. And that's huge because this would be her 3rd missed game, as I've got the notes here for you. She's still questionable with that back. Would be her 3rd missed game. And the other thing I wanted to bring up why I brought this slide back up is the Atlanta Dream just got embarrassed, man, by the Dallas Wings, who looked really good. Shout out Ueru, who's been awesome for them, started in the last game. We'll talk about that here when we get to the Wings game. But that was embarrassing because mostly what they did on offense against one of the bottom 3 defenses in the league for the Wings, they only shot 23% from the field, and they only made 15 shots in the whole game. That's not going to get it done. They got a good amount from the free throw line, but they ended with 55 points in a 13-point loss to this Dallas Wings squad. They should be coming back with some ferocity here. I would imagine they can't possibly shoot that bad, but this is not the get right game against a good defense like Minnesota, with and without Napheesa. Still a very, very good defense, which I'll show you here in a minute as well. But this is going to be the starting lineup once again. We see these teams kind of sticking to it. If Collier's not out there, we're going to get the girl whose name I can't pronounce, so I'm not even going to try. Once again, starts with a KL. She's still going to be out there. She's been getting 27 plus minutes when she plays without Napheesa, so she'll be big. But let's take a quick look at the updated sort of stats for these key players for Minnesota without Napheesa Collier. Lana Smith went off last game, right? As we know, that's bumped her up now 15.8 points per 30 minutes when she's playing on court and Napheesa's not out there. So this is not just the games that Napheesa has missed. This is also any minutes that Alana Smith has played this season without Napheesa out there, up to 15.8 per 30 minutes. And she's averaging about 30 minutes per game without Collier this season. There's been 3 games without her. She's up to about 29.5 minutes per game without Napheesa. That usage rate is really nice, and the rebounds are up at 7.2 per 30 minutes. And that might be another place that we can get some value for Alana. For Courtney Williams, really bad game in this last one. So she was at about 15.5 points per 30 minutes. One bad game, horrible game, where she played about 25 minutes without Collier in that last game and did bad. really bad. I think the 5 points in that game. Usage rate's still really high. She's still taking a lot of shots. So I'd be careful fading her just because she had a bad game last one. But I don't think you want to just go ahead and pencil players in for a big game when we see them without Nafisa. That's been some inconsistencies across the board, especially with McBride, who also was bad in this last game. Was up at about 18 points per 30 minutes without Nafisa on court this season. And in the last 2 games, not the best. And as a result, back down to 15.8 points per 30 minutes. Usage rate still at about 22%. But again, this is a dream defense. That this is going to be a defensive matchup. So I don't know if I'm really willing to bet on anything until I know if Nafisa Collier is playing, because it's going to impact everything for the Lynx here. But the other thing here is that the dream should be, it's going to be a different matchup for them. If Nafisa is not out there, they don't have to focus as much on her. That's going to change rebounds and a bunch of different props for these dream players. So let's just move on to the other game I'm looking at and get right into this Indy game against Dallas, because we don't know if Clark is playing yet, but I think there's some things we can at least look at and start thinking about how we might take advantage of that a lot more so than that Minnesota game. If she does miss this game, that would be the second one in a row. I think she's going to play. I feel like she was just missing the front end of the back-to-back when Indy just played against the Sparks, and that was a brutal loss, though. So I don't know if they were thinking to themselves, well, if we beat the Sparks, maybe we keep her out, but they're not good right now without Cece at all, and they're going to need her if they really want to make sure they win against a Wings team that just had a really big win against the Dream. And if you look at them with and without Cece this season, look, I mean, 5-4 with her isn't really anything to sort of like brag about, but it's definitely better than 2-4, and everything just drops, mostly on offense, right? The defensive rating doesn't change at all, stays at the exact same, but the record's horrible without her. The offensive rating goes down to 101 from 109. The points per game drop by 11 per game, and then the rebounds as well, 37 boards per game with her, 27 without her, and she is a good rebounding guard. I mean, tall for her position, so she definitely does get in there, gets about 5.5 boards per game, so it's a big deal for her, right? And we'll see if she's able to play, but I think we can at least get ahead of some stuff if she doesn't. So I'm not willing to play anything with Paige and Enrique right now. The last time I'd really tried to bank on how to bet on them, it was against the Dream. And what doesn't make the Dream and the Fever play defense pretty similarly. Neither of them give up the spot up. Dream number 1 against the spot up. The Fever here number 2 against it, right? However, Enrique had a great game against the Dream. Went 6 for 14, but went to the free throw line 9 times. Paige, horrible game on offense, 6 for 15. Didn't really do much in the assist department either, just 4 dimes, because again, a lot of those are to spot up players. There's no pattern here that I can really follow for these guards. One does better one game, the other one does better the other. They rarely do very well at the same time, so I just don't know really how to bet on them just yet. Lee Ueru, who I was just talking about a minute ago, incredible game last game. On the points, pretty good, 4 for 9. The boards are where I think we still have a bit of a ability to bet over for her. Now, she played 34 minutes in this last game and has been up to in the 20s in the last couple, right? But at the same time, and also I should mention, because Dejanay Carrington not playing in the last couple games, she might be up for a trade even, to be honest, and it could be to the Fever with the way that DeWanna Bonner is no longer there. But DJ Carrington is not really fitting in very well, and also she started for Maisha Hines-Allen in this last game. So I think we're going to see her start again. She had the highest plus minus on the team. She's got the highest plus minus on the team on the season now in about 94 total minutes. And the rebounds are really what stand out to you. When she's out there, this team is about 3 rebounds per 30 minutes better than when she's not out there, right? And so they really need her down low big time, especially against a Fever team that has Aaliyah Boston going bananas. So for right now, I do like Lee more than anything on the boards, but we'll see if she's in the starting lineup once again, and I'm hoping to get that news early here on Friday morning, then probably going for a little bit of both on the points and the rebounds for Lee. Now, assuming that CC does not play, I think we got to go back to an under on the points for Aaliyah Boston more than anything. With CC, it's crazy, right? It makes perfect sense. Like, she's at 18.6 points per game with Clark out there because she's the main pick and roll ball screener, right? She's the pick person in that play with CC, and that's all they run is pick and roll with Boston and Clark, and everything sort of works off of that. So her percentages, or everything, efficiencies, her involvement in the offense, not as much. She's not set up for the same quality looks. She only had, I believe, 12 points in this game here that they lost to the Sparks on Thursday night. So she's just highly dependent on the points for Clark when she comes in. The other thing too is if you look at her with Clark on the season, 10 boards per game, but if you take that without CC on the season, the boards go way down as well. Did not go over this once in the games without Caitlin Clark, and that excludes tonight. Now, as we're recording this on Thursday, she did get 10 boards in that game, so you might want to stay away from the rebounds a little bit, but the points, especially at 15.5, when you get up there, if Clark's not out there, doesn't really matter quite as much who the opponent is. There's been some bad teams in there that she's gone under. I would think that the Wings look a little bit better down low. So she'd be an under if we don't have Clark out there. But if we do, then it's an over. It's really that big of a difference. The points and rebounds at 24.5 with Caitlin Clark out there, that's an over. Without her, if she's not out there, under on the points for Boston. Not going to give you the lineups and everything here for the Sun and Storm game. This is a 19.5 point spread for good reason. If you look at the Mabry-less Sun here, they're going to be playing again. They just lost by 26 points. I don't know who's going to get minutes for them. They keep playing, Tina Charles that just played 28 minutes in a 26 point loss, even though she's like 36 years old and doesn't have that many years left in the league. You've got all these bench players for the Sun who could come in and do well, and they're not playing it. What I do like in this game is an under, because I'd be worried about playing too many overs for the Storm starters when they shouldn't have to play that much. They should win by 20. Once again, that's what the market is telling us, and I believe it fully that the Storm are capable of dominating this game at home against the worst team in the league without its best player. Fully believe in that. Also don't believe in anything the Sun are doing coaching wise. So I don't know why Skylar Diggins would have to play that many minutes, right? And there's a small correlation here. What I'm looking at here is the games that how many points they won by. So if I take the games where they even just won by like 10 or 11 points, even that goes down to 17, right? Even if it's the games they won by at least double digits, under in 3 of the 5. Once you get up to this, like more than 10, 15 points, she's at 12.5 because she played 29 minutes. She played 29 minutes. Didn't even have to take that many shots, right? Like she's able to be a little bit more of a facilitator, somebody who controls the offense. 19.5 is above her normal range anyway. And although this should be a relatively easy matchup, there's no reason for her to play enough minutes to get 20 points. So I do like her to play under 30 in this game, go under on the 20 points that she would need. That's really the only bet that I'm looking at getting down as of right now on that game. And then unfortunately for this last game too, I don't want to bet on the Sky much, but I do want to bet on the Valkyries. I just need to know if Temi Fagbenle is coming back. And there's a lot of players that could be coming back for the Valkyries in this game that were playing in the Euros. So I want to see who's going to be out there before I start making bets on this one as well. Looking to have a live show though, 5 p.m. Eastern here on Friday to get this stuff out. So hope to see you guys in the live so we can go over some of the stuff together with hopefully a bit more news than we have right now across the league here on Friday. And that is all the time I have for you guys. So like I said, hope to see you here at 5 p.m. On Friday, going over some more of this stuff. Hopefully we have some more news. Either way, definitely want to make sure you sub to the channel. We're going to keep coming back with all this stuff. Appreciate you giving it a like as well. Until I see you next, happy betting.